In this video, we will find the exact value of a trig function at a special angle. To do this, we will do two methods. One, we will use the unit circle, as we've done in the past, and I will also show you how to use your TI-30XS multi-view to get the answer. But first of all, special angle, what are you talking about? Long ago, you were supposed to have memorized these 6 values. Well, technically I told you to memorize the yellow ones for sure, and then the white ones should follow from them, since the cosine of pi over 4 is the same as the sine, and the sine and cosine of pi over 3 are the same as the sine and cosine of pi over 6, only reversed. Reverse. So you should be able to write down these 6 values on a sheet of scratch paper before you begin any trig test. So I'm going to proceed assuming that you have that ability. In fact, let's pretend that this is your scratch paper that you took out and you wrote down these 6 values. And now we're just going to refer back to them. If you have not actually developed that skill yet, you need to pause the video because you're behind the times, alright? You need to pause the video and practice writing these down blind on a sheet of scratch paper over and over again until you can accomplish that easily. Special angles are these angles right here. So pi over 4, pi over 6, pi over 3. Also, any multiple of pi over 2 will be special. We'll definitely use the unit circle for those. Anyway, let's see what's what. Alright, we're going to do number 13, 14, and 15. Let's zoom in on number 13. Alright, so first of all, secant is 1 over the cosine. It's the reciprocal of the cosine. So this is going to be the same thing as 1 over the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6. Alright, it's going to be the reciprocal of the cosine. So let's figure out what the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6 is. Well, to do that, it's useful to concentrate on the reference angle. Alright, if I look at the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6, that's going to equal the same thing as the cosine of pi over 6, except for it might need to be negative out front. Alright, that's the only thing I'm not sure will be positive or negative. Well, to figure that out, I can just look at the unit circle. So looking at the unit circle, if I'm dealing with a reference angle of pi over 6, then I'm going to draw some pi over 6's. So far I've got pi over 2's. Alright, if I take these and split them up into 3 pieces, okay, now I've got pi over 6's. I'm going to do it again. Alright, now I've got pi over 6's. If I go to negative 5 pi over 6, that means I'm going clockwise. Alright, so starting from here, this is negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this would be the position of negative 5 pi over 6. You see that it is in the third quadrant, where cosine is definitely negative because it's an x value and it's on the left. So we will need that negative sign. Meanwhile, pi over 6, cosine of pi over 6, this is one of those ones that we memorized. Cosine of pi over 6 is radical 3 over 2. Okay, so that means I've got negative radical 3 over 2. Okay, so that means that, fine, the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6 is negative radical 3 over 2. But we want the secant, which is the reciprocal of this. It's 1 over this. Okay? So it's like 1 over negative radical 3 over 2. Which is just the reciprocal. So that's going to be negative 2 over radical 3. So that is the answer, or one form of the answer. If I were to rationalize the denominator, I would get negative 2 radical 3 over 3. Alright, which is the same thing. Now, I could have used my TI-30XS multiview to solve this. I still needed to know that secant is 1 over the cosine. But as long as I knew that, I could have just typed it in. Now, be careful, though, before I start typing. You have to make sure your calculator is in radian mode. See, mine says RAD. If you look at your calculator right now, it probably says DEG, because that's another mode that one can be in. Alright, so here I'm in degree mode. Alright, but we're working in radians, so make sure you switch to radian mode. Alright, just hit the mode buttons how I got here. So anyway, with that in mind, I need to do 1 over, and then we had the cosine of, and then we have another fraction going on in here, and I believe it was negative 5 pi over 6. Alright, I'm going to have to look back because my memory gets faulty. Okay, so I'm doing 1 over the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6. So 1 over the cosine of negative 5 pi over 6. Kabam! Negative 2 radical 3 over 3. Alright, which is exactly the same as one of our forms of the answer. So, as long as you put your calculator in radian mode, and assuming you're allowed to use your calculator in the first place, you could have gotten it very quickly. Okay, let's do number 14. Again, I'm going to do it without the calculator first. Cosine of 5 pi over 3 is going to equal the same thing as cosine of pi over 3, alright? Because this is one of those special angles, and this would be the reference angle. But maybe it should be minus. Maybe it should be negative. So again, to figure that out, I look at the unit circle. Here's pi up top. I need pi over 3 though, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to divide it 3 ways. Oh, that's horrible. Let me try again. I can do better than that. Okay, kind of looks like a beach ball, but anyway, 1, 2, 3, these are all pi over 3's. So if I go 5 pi over 3, that's going to look like this. Alright, starting from standard position, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this would be 5 pi over 3. So is cosine negative here? Well, it is not. Cosine is positive here. Because look, here's the y-axis and the x-axis. So this is in the fourth quadrant. Cosine is the x value, and x values are positive to the right of the y-axis here. So I don't actually need a negative sign or anything. So this is going to equal cosine of pi over 3. Now this is again one of those values that we wrote down at the beginning. Cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. So that's it. The answer is 1/2. Again, if I use my TI-30XS multiview, cosine of 5 pi over 3, okay, I could just type it in. Cosine of 5 pi over 3. Okay, 1/2. Kabam. Again, make sure you are in radian mode, otherwise you're not going to get the right answer. Okay, and finally number 15. If I want to do the cotangent of 9 pi over 4. Cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So this is going to be the same thing as 1 over the tangent of 9 pi over 4. Alright, because that's what reciprocal means, like put a big 1 over it, and then you've got the reciprocal. So all I need to do is figure out what is the tangent of 9 pi over 4. So here I go on my quest to figure out the tangent of 9 pi over 4. But let's start with the reference angle. This should equal the tangent of the reference angle pi over 4, give or take a negative sign. Alright, we'll have to worry about that shortly. Now remember that tangent is sine over cosine. So tangent is going to equal sine of pi over 4 divided by the cosine of pi over 4. Okay, and we just have to be careful of the signs here. So let's figure out what the signs are, meaning are they positive or negative. To do that, we will need to look at the unit circle one more time. So we need pi over 4's happening. So here's pi. Now we have pi over 2. If I split them one more time, I have pi over 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's pi over 4. So let's just figure out whether sine or cosine will be positive where we land. So starting from the standard position here, I'm going to go 9 pi over 4. So it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pi over 4 is going to end up right here. That's in the first quadrant where sine and cosine are both positive. So that means I don't need any negative signs here. That means the tangent is going to become positive as well. Positive divided by positive. So I can just go with this. Now, I have memorized both of these, sine of pi over 4 and cosine of pi over 4. Those are both 1 over radical 2. So that means that this is going to equal 1 over radical 2 divided by 1 over radical 2. Well, that's just 1. Okay, so that means the tangent of 9 pi over 4 is equal to 1. Okay, so that means I've got 1 over 1 for the cotangent, and of course that's just going to equal 1. So the final answer should be 1. Now once again, if I wanted to use my TI-30XS multi-view, I could have picked it up right from here. As soon as I knew that cotangent is 1 over the tangent, I could have typed this in. So let's look at that one more time. 1 over tangent 9 pi over 4. So here I go. 1 over the tangent, and then I have 9 pi over 4. Okay, and I get 1 right away. So if you're allowed to use your calculator, you can just do that. Alright, that is going to be the end of this video. On the next video, we are going to answer some of these. We're going to use our Pythagorean identities to find some trig values. Alright, but we'll see you on the next video.